Hello and welcome back to the Fummins build. If you're new here, you're just catching up, maybe you missed some episodes. Basically, the long and short of it is we bought this 2008 F350 crew cab dually four-wheel drive truck. We got it blown up specifically to do the Cummins swap. I then bought an 05 Dodge Ram 2500 and took the common rail Cummins, which is right here, out of it. We put it in here with the DCS, Diesel Conversion Specialist swap kit. One thing that seems to get kind of confused is it seems like people don't realize that this is not a 12 valve and that there's a difference really between the common rail and the 12 valve. The common rail is, electronically injected versus all mechanical injection, and it's a newer, more refined engine, which I wanted because once this thing's going, we're going to be towing long distance with it. That's why I wanted one with, the nicer interior with all the good options, and it's going to be a long distance tow rig. So anyway, long story short, we had an issue, no crank condition. Finally figured that out, got that sorted, got it cranking, got it running. It wasn't running great. Checked the valve lash last video. Valve lash was a little too tight on a cylinder. Reset the valve lash, purrs like a kitten now. Retorqued the head studs. We had to let it get hot and then retorque them. Sandy's come to supervise early this time. Nice of you to get to work on time today. I appreciate it, Sands. Well, I'm not gonna have it done today. That's unrealistic, Sands. I'm telling you, it's unreal. There's no way. You see how much work is left to be done? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basically, my next plan of attack is to start working on all the other stuff we got to do. Main things, AC lines. We need to get our other manifold on there, cut our lines, tack them, and then weld them. That's the big thing with the AC lines. We'll need to make our intercooler piping, our radiator hoses. We have the stuff for that. There's going to be some cutting and some fitting and welding. It's just going to be a little difficult to attack because obviously if I put the whole front end together of the truck, which is kind of what I need to do to mock everything up, then it's like impossible to get back there to the AC lines. But if I don't put the front of the truck on, then I might weld them, crooked this way a few degrees and then they don't fit. So I've been kind of dreading this part. Not that it's hard, it's just like getting them to fit up correctly. And still be able to get to them easily is going to be a little tricky. So I'm going to pick one of the things to start doing and we're going to dive into it. So I'm going to try to mock this up. I think I can get it pretty close. All right, another thing we need to have in position. Oh, I'm caught on something. It's our intercooler pipe because it's going to come out right around where the AC lines are. Ideally, we would build them both at the same time, but again, that requires putting the front of the truck together, which would make getting all this stuff quite difficult. So as you can maybe see, not a lot of room for everything. We got the AC line there, we got our other guy here. I think going under the intercooler piping is going to be the way to go, because if we tried to go over it, I guess we could go over it and just stay on the side over here, but we still got to get the intake on into the turbo, so got to leave room for that as well. It's going to be a tight fit. This is probably going to be the most difficult part, I would say, that for me at least. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get the little adapter manifold block on there and just kind of start eyeballing it. I'll probably take this out while I try to fit them where I think and get ready to cut them, and then once we're attaching them and tacking them, we'll put it back in. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the alternator off. It's got block nuts. Oh, that nut is hot. Don't drop it. Block nuts get hot when you rip them off. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this alternator off because it'll be way easier to get to everything. Obviously, before we finalize anything, we'll need to bolt it back up just so it's in position. But this will just make things a little bit easier at the moment. I'm trying to not drop everything. Come on, washer. Got it. We got it. Okay, cool. All right. No. Freaking idiot. All that effort to not drop it. I tossed it onto the battery with zero care. Drop it. Reroute some of this wiring while I'm here. So here's what we've got. It is a manifold block. Got our low side line, our high side line. Basically what we're going to need to do is kind of bend these lines into position very carefully and mock up our other lines to them. Basically our other line, we're we're gonna cut it and it's gonna slide over this and we're gonna weld it here. So definitely gonna be a bit tricky just to get everything to fit correctly, but I'm sure we'll make it happen. Yeah, now basically what we gotta do is just kind of get these lines, massage them into position where it'll be easy to go on with this line and this line. This one's kind of in a real weird spot right now, so that one is going to be tricky to position correctly. But I think we'll do this, get this one positioned first, and then kind of, we got some flexibility, more flexibility with this one, and get that one in play. Oh man, bending these lines has become quite a struggle. I'm going to try to heat this one up right at the kink. I need to kick it to the right just a little bit more without, it's wanting to kink down here. So I'm trying to get the bend to be up here, and then I need to go down some more, which, yeah, it's tough. Come on, baby. Oh, we got it. I think we got it, boys. Hell yeah. That's pretty close to where we need to be without kinking it. Now we're on to hose number 2. We shouldn't need this fitting. We do have another one on this line, so I'm not going to worry about making that super accessible. I just got to kind of, I mean, I'm thinking like kind of like that is really going to be my best bet. Get over, this will be a lot of bending, unfortunately. So let's give her a shot here. Let's try to bend it back straight. I mean, that looks like that's gonna work. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get without us stressing the lines more and potentially kinking them. Scary bendy part's over. I hate bending stuff like this. I always feel like I'm gonna break it, kink it, crack it, whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna pull these lines out. We're gonna cut them, see how we can make them fit up. All right, we got our lines cut. Basically what we're gonna do, reassemble all this stuff in the truck, set up my mobile welder for AC TIG, aluminum TIG. We're gonna go over there, we're gonna tack them all in place, and then pull it all back out, weld it out, new gaskets, final assemble. Man, wow, those look clean. That's like as out of the way as they're gonna get, man. Like I said, we just need to tack them in now. All right, let's set up the welder, get our tacks going. Routing is perfect though. That one comes from up there, ducks down next to the turbo, up and into here, nice and low. This one, choop, 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 comes up, over, out. So both of those nice and out of the way. Got room for a radiator hose here to come out. Should be solid. In worst case, I can bend this some more once it's welded. You know, I can bend it that way some more if I need to, but I think for now, that's kind of the best all around. Oh no, the white cyan, gotta change the battery. Okay, that is the signal that I'm talking too much. Let's try it. Let's do it, guys. Went okay, except it's like I'm running out of power or something. Try to get another tack on it. Can. It's kind of hard to get to. I'm stuck. And I truly just don't understand like how that happened. Like, how does that happen? Like, I rinsed these out like with water, I blew them out with air, you know, I made sure to clean them good to make sure there was nothing left in them. I mean, I guess maybe there was something left in them. Maybe the rubber was like under tension. So when it got hot, I don't know, man. It's so weird. I don't know. It's so weird. Luckily, I mean, this piece is salvageable, but it's just a bummer because, you know, I was looking forward to finishing. It's like, you know, everything, a lot of the other stuff is assembly. This is, you know, I've got to build these lines. I got to bend everything, got to get it to fit right. I got to check it. I got to weld it. You know, past this, the intercooler piping's easy. And then, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I was just looking forward to being done with this. Always got one welded. No pinholes or anything I can see. So we got one AC line, man. We got one. Alright, got that cleaned up, got the fitting off. We'll probably have to do a little more. There's a little spot right here I missed. Probably have to do a little more of that whenever we get the next line, but at least we got it off without having to cut this too short. We didn't have to cut it at all. So I'm going to put this line back in. Basically that way, whenever we get the new line and it's going to weld to this side, I can cut it, put it in here, mark it, pull everything out, weld it. So that way we're just ready to go when that line comes in. And again, we can move on to the rest of the stuff we got to do, which is a lot of things. So I want to get to it. All right, well, at least we got part of it done. All is not lost. Sad Taylor that he can't finish. But again, I am, at the end of the day, I am really happy with the positioning of the lines. They definitely are in a good spot to be away from everything. I mean, we got the hard part done. We got that bent. We've got it where it needs to be. We know it's gonna fit. We know where to cut the other line. It's just cutting it, welding it, you know, obviously, and pulling this back out. So not a big deal, but again, just a little bit of a bummer. Sandy. Well, we got a new AC line. I got Sandy out here supervising this time. Hopefully it goes a little better for me, right, Sands? Sandy, you can't supervise from out here. How are you gonna see what I'm doing? All right, I'll check with you before I weld it up, okay? Is that all right, Sands? Yeah, okay. All right, cool. You wanna come look at it now? Come on, Sands. Come check it out for me. What do you think? So, yeah, okay, all right, cool, thank you. So I got a new line. I got to go blow it out, blow this one out again. Oil and debris and dirt and stuff gets caught in these crimps, and then that, you know, that just heated up because we're welding right against the crimp, and that led to our hose explosion. So now we know. The new line is brand new, so we shouldn't have that problem. But anyway, I'll update you guys when I'm welding it. Oh man, these AC lines are not being kind to me. So the replacement line I got, obviously being an aftermarket line, the rubber is cheaper, so it just wants to kink instead of doing a gradual bend. And yeah, so I finally got it right, and then I had bought a receiver dryer, so I changed the receiver dryer, but this part is like an inch or so, inch and a half longer than the OEM one. So now I got it to where it wasn't kinked, and then now it's kinked again. So now I gotta take this back out and put the old one back in, or cut the line again and weld it in a different spot, like cut this and weld it shorter. Yeah, I got that end shortened and welded. It seemed to work out well. I test fit it again. Marks still line up, everything's good. So I'm gonna clean this up and we're gonna try to weld this last joint out. We're gonna be very careful and just kind of do a couple dabs, stop, couple dabs, stop, couple dabs, stop, just to try to keep from putting too much heat into it, since it's basically crimp, and you know, there's rubber inside this crimp, so we do not want to heat this up too much. So that's going to be the biggest challenge here, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get her done. All right, well, unfortunately, that did not go to plan, obviously. The difficulty is trying to weld this against this crimp because, I mean, there's rubber right up to where I'm welding it, and really the optimal thing to do would be to put this in water to keep it cool, but I'd need to submerge it all the way up to the crimp, which would mean I'd be welding like an inch above the water. And I mean, it's hard enough to position this octopus of hoses anyway. I don't know how well I'd be able to do that. So anyway, at the end of the day though, I went ahead and ordered a Ford OEM line. This line was pretty much junk. Like, it kinked, no problem trying to route it. And even with this shortened to make the routing a little better, it was still kinked about halfway. So not the end of the world. Definitely a bummer, especially after doing this side. You know, putting all the effort in. I was on the last weld and these AC lines would have been done, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. So anyway, I do have a new plan for the next time where I might not have to modify the this line at all, the line I just reordered. I'm gonna cut this off and try to weld this here, so it's metal, no rubber, and then that's the same fitting that would attach on the other end of this line if we didn't cut it, and basically make it disconnectable if I can. It's got kind of a weird, crazy bend to it, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to position this in a way where I could weld that to there and get everything to jive, but we'll find out. We'll see what we can do. So anyway, that is going to delay us a little bit, unfortunately. So we're gonna go ahead and move this thing out of here. I'm gonna try to drive it out. There's not really any reason why it shouldn't drive. Just need to kind of go through and check. I haven't started it in a few days, so yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. Dude, it's got a backup camera in the rear view.
Nice.
That's sick.
Was I hyped enough for your liking?
Dang, that was honestly really cool because one, it felt real peppy, especially no turbo, no intercooler piping. Two, I noticed there's a backup camera on the tailgate and I thought it didn't work because it says nothing hooked up to the radio. And I noticed there was a lot of wires in the rearview mirror, but like didn't look like there was anything there. There's a backup camera in the rearview mirror. This thing's so pimp, I love it. I mean, this is the whole goal with this truck, was to have a truck with like all these nice modern amenities, and it has them and it runs and it moves. We just got that dang AC line has been holding us up for like a week now. Again, I could work on the rest of the stuff and just have to deal with taking it back apart to do the AC line. But I have, again, stuff to do on the Subaru. I want to get it knocked out because it'll be a quick, short project. Oh, I mean, hopefully I shouldn't say that. So anyway, I'll see you guys when we get the AC line. We'll be back. We have our Ford replacement line finally. This one's definitely a lot nicer, a lot thicker rubber. The diameter of this, I wonder if I can show you. You can see how much bigger the crimp is by itself, how much thicker the rubber is. It's a much beefier hose. Obviously, I cut this and welded it down. But anyway, moral of the story is we need to get the truck back in here. Finished up the old Subaru, did a lot of stuff to this over the past couple days, including some sick mud flaps. Real hyped on that. Equal length header sounds sick now. Just needs a retune and we're ready for Tail of the Dragon, but we gotta get this thing out of here. Pull the truck back in. See how she fires. Like nothing. The brakes are like basically manual brakes. gotta use that for mock-up. Truck's back in. Oil drain's still leaking. Yeah, just as bad as before. I'm gonna order, I think I'm just gonna order a new one. And I got Honda Bond to do it this time instead of normal RTV. The Honda Bond definitely is a ripper. Yeah, back to AC lines. Let's, I'm gonna get this line in here, the main one that we need. The last one that we need. Oh, you stupid power steering cooler. This thing is always in the way. And I'm gonna see if we can get it even remotely close without cutting it. All right, I think my new plan is gonna work. Right there, that keeps us out of the way of the intercooler piping. We've got plenty of room if we screw it up to cut it and bring it down a little bit if we need to. We should be able to, we can rotate this a good amount. Need to make sure we get this in a position where it's not kinking. I checked it, like kind of in this general vicinity. Looks like it's not gonna kink. And again, we have room to go down if we need to. So we'll try to kind of keep it up as high as we can. Just again, to give us a little leeway. But yeah, so then we'll have it just bolt on right there. And that way we're just welding to metal, not welding to metal with rubber right next to it. So I'm stoked. That'll be the way to go. Because that way we just keep this line 100% OEM. If we have any issues with it, we can replace it. Don't have to re-weld or anything like that. Give it a shot. So here's what we've got them all cleaned up. I drilled open this hole just enough to allow us to slide it over the top here of this one. That way we get a nice kind of plug weld instead of a butt weld. It should hold pressure better. This is the low pressure side. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I think it'll be fine really either way. But that was kind of the easier way to do it. And that way if we need to clock it a little bit one way or the other, we can do that as well. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna put it in the truck now. Try to get everything lined up, see how we're looking. Looks like that's gonna work, guys. You get a couple good tacks on her. It's gonna be a little tricky getting into that spot underneath, but we definitely want to tack this in the truck because of how that can kind of tilt any direction. No line kinking. It's a little tight down here, but still got plenty of opening. Relatively smoothly. We got it, boys. Got it. So yeah, I gotta let it cool down so we don't melt our O-rings and stuff. Put it all back together. Actually made it through this time. Oh. All right, moment of truth. Hopefully the final install. The final install. Okay, I'm done. Beautiful, man, beautiful. Fits great. Look at that. Hell yes. Well, just like that, only took to the third line, but we got it done. I definitely like the setup a lot better with that being removable. It's a lot easier. Trying to get this combo in of these two lines, this line and that one, was tricky. So this works out good, keeps it nice and low. We got a nice long radius on the bend, keeps it tucked down way under this. It really worked out awesome. So it was a good thing I had got a new receiver dryer, because that's what I cut the piece off of, the old one. After the last line melted, I was looking at it, I'm like, maybe this is going to be the way to go, because then I can hopefully keep this line intact, and it worked out. So I was a little worried it might not, but we're good. We got it. We got our AC lines done. Got this one hooked back up. That's easy enough. I'm going to get the alternator back on. All right, alternator's back on. Earl pressure sensor. Bow. Well, that AC line was quite the saga. Because of that, we're pretty much out of time for this episode, but we'll be picking this back up tomorrow, diving back into this thing and getting the front end stuff done. Getting the fan clutch on, fan assembly, trying to make the shroud work. I know we're gonna have to do a little modification there, making our intercooler piping, getting the front of the truck together, really. And once all that stuff's done, the radiator hoses are done, the heater hoses are done, we can fill it up with coolant, and we could try to really drive this thing. So, I mean, within the next video or two, we should be trying to take this thing for a cruise, for a drive, for a test rip around the yard, something. So I hope to see you guys for that, but for now, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, goodbye.